Fibonacci will be on the right-hand side. So first pick is going to go to Talon. What is on the agenda? Get rid of the Metagross. I totally agree with this ban. The Filipino teams have just been absolute monsters with this Pokemon, but the respect Ho-Oh ban.
Oh, yeah. They saw game number 1 for
They're like, RBX? No.
Oh, yeah,
no Ho-Oh for you.
Ban it away. But this is making things quite clear for Talon. They are leaving that Hoopa wide open. But mind to tell you, Kai is not playing, and Kai is their signature Hoopa player. So I kind of understand why they're not banning it away, which leaves it to the Psyduck pick from RBX.
And this is equally scary because Psyduck, even though it's received a couple of nerfs in the latest update, I still feel like this Pokemon just provides too much utility to its team. Like, it's still too good. So it's very hard to pass up. And I mean, it's kind of equivalent to Umbreon, right? Like, both of these Pokemon, they serve similar roles. They're very great at disrupting your opponents in particular. So, you know, they're kind of equal in terms of priority. And Umbreon's going to go onto the other side, it looks like. So Fibonacci will get their hands on the Umbreon. But Zacian is appearing today. We've seen this Pokemon banned a lot, but because we've had some respect bans coming through from Talon and Fibonacci, the doggo finally is going to be in the hands of Fibonacci. Really keen to see how this Pokemon plays out for them, as Hoopa will be the healing support on the side of Talon, followed by Serena, a queen that has still dominated the game even though she's received a nerf.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've seen the value of the Serena in terms of, you know, canceling those Unite moves a while ago by utilizing the Queen's Ascendant. I feel like
survivability as well.
Yeah, that is what Lance is trying to do as of the moment. But right now, the damage is looking promising. At the side of Code and Fibonacci, they have Zacian, they have the Urshifu, same thing with the Inteleon. So what could be their response here for Talon? I feel like it's going to be Mewtwo, simply because they want to offer the same kit that Inteleon has as of the moment. And yes, it will be together with that Surlich.
I feel like they really needed to have the Mewtwo Y on their side, right? They need the damage, but they also need to have some backline divers. So Cerulege is going to be a great choice here. Theme might want to stay a little further back, especially if he does catch wind of Sync 1. RBX would be an issue as well. Darkrai! Darkrai is finally making an appearance here at the Winter Tournament, and it's going to be TBD that plays it.
Darkrai support TBD! Are you kidding me? It's a support!
Okay. I know a lot of people are going to have questions, okay? I'm going to pick your brain. What does a Darkrai support provide to the team? Like, what are you really looking for in its kit that would make it valuable as a support?
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, if you have that support in Darkrai, you want to make sure that you make everyone asleep. That's your job. That's your job. Make everyone asleep.
Sing lullabies.
Yeah, right? They sing lullaby, and that Inteleon would just snipe shot you, and then they're going to be sent back into the Pokemon Center immediately. That is going to be the concept of Code Unknown Fibonacci as of the moment. So the thing is, Talon has a Hoopa, alright? They have a Hoopa. So if someone falls asleep, that Hyperspace Ult is going to be ready, and they're just going to be sent back into the Pokemon Center in a good way, right? In a good way. So the question is, can Code Unknown Fibonacci pull off this risk? Because we've seen an Espeon support a while ago by Talon, and they pull off the same concept that Talon is trying to do by using this Darkrai support.
I just want to say this in action. I just need to see how this is going to work in game, because I don't think it would have occurred to anybody to be like, hey guys, let's try Darkrai support. Like, if you want to put someone to sleep, I think most people would assume, you know, like Wigglytuff. It does make a little bit more sense, but yeah, who knows, you know, maybe this works out and all of a sudden Darkrai support ends up being a thing in Pokemon Unite. But the lanes are underway here, as we've got Darkrai supporting Zacian in that top lane. But down bottom though, we do see All Up getting pressured there by the Mewtwo Y. Thankfully finds a bush in time, so can get away. But this duo down here from Talon, they're causing a lot of issues down here. And especially with an Urshifu, who's still a Cubfu, there's going to be no support for quite a while.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing, like Kodo no Fibonacci, they want to get that advantage as well in terms of the laning in top path, because they know that this Darkrai could actually put up a lot of pressure in this team who's actually not a Serena yet. So that is, I think that is their primary goal here in order to be, you know, dominant in the top path. But right now, look at the dominance here coming in from Talon, and they get a KO. Zacian taken down, and multiple scores are landing in on their side. 60 points in the bank. So easy, so quick for Talon. And right now, Kodo no Fibonacci, they need more vision and control in this game.
I mean, I feel like they need a lot more than just that, right? They need stability. They need someone that's going to be able to hold the fort down in that mid game. And unfortunately, it sort of came a little bit too late, right? Because you've had this Kubfu, who was your central laner. Unfortunately, it was Kubfu for a little bit too long, meaning that this top lane just wasn't as strong as it would have liked to have been. If they had someone a little bit quicker, maybe if they even brought in some support from that bottom lane to give them the numbers advantage, maybe that's what they were kind of needing, you know, to get that level advantage and hopefully just to kind of keep them in, because we see Urshifu getting eliminated by a 3-man rotation here by Talon. And Fibonacci, I mean, there's only so much that they can do on their goal zone, but look at this Umbreon. They can't even move.
Uh-oh, this is not the Ulap that we've seen on the upper bracket a while ago. Talon so far dominating this matchup. 8 points away for the 100 points. And this is just pure pressure that they are actually experiencing up against Talon. They want to force things out, but nothing is happening on their side.
No, they just don't have anything that's giving them any meaningful damage in that bottom lane. And what's worse is the fact that because Inteleon hasn't evolved, you're still a Drizzile, and you're defending, you're not gaining any experience. You're basically hard capped at level 6, so you're not providing any benefits to your team. And even then, your Zacian is about to go get knocked out in that top lane. They are going to continue this fight though, but TBD on this Darkrai, managing to escape in a bush. Do they have the damage to maybe turn it around? Zacian is there. Sacred Sword, big damage numbers. They lose the Zacian, but in exchange for that Psyduck, another 2 Pokemon go down. Serena for Darkrai. So 2 for 2 exchange in that top lane. If they can get another exchange, that would be fantastic. But Urshifu forced to use the Wicked Blow to avoid the disable, but look how weak they are.
Oh no, this is not looking good for the side of Fibonacci, but they are slowly but surely bouncing back up against their competitor, which is Talon. So Talon right now, what they have to do is apply more pressure, and at the same time, aside from applying that pressure, they need to maintain their position, because there are times that they actually overextend. And that's actually a thing that you don't want to happen up until this point.
Another thing you don't want to have happen is your casters coming back to the screen. We do want to apologize for the technical mishap, so we are actually having this fixed. We don't know what the issue is at this point of time, but hopefully we will be able to jump back into the game, guys. So super sorry about that. Here we go. We are back into this game, and it looks like not much has really changed, unfortunately. Talon's still leading with 185 points. Code Unknown Fibonacci still struggling to score anything in this game. And the level gap between these two teams is still continuing to rise. No Pokemon have hit level 10 yet on Fibonacci, whereas for Talon, they're sitting on 2 10s and an 11 after a bloodbath of a laning stage.
And this is actually not looking great for Kodo no Fibonacci, because their held items, their stacking items are not being utilized because of their scoreless. They are scoreless as of the moment, so that's a huge challenge for them. And Talon keeps on applying the pressure. Mega Evolution, but gets caught up by the Ignite move of the Darkrai. Worst nightmare for their attacker. And right now, Kodo no Fibonacci is looking for a room for them to get this bottom lane objective, but RBX is still applying the pressure up against Mithril. There goes the rings inbound, sending down the reinforcements of Talon, and this is just a phenomenal amount of damage. Sync 1, and they do get this objective. Regirock, additional defense for their team, and they will take the resources as well in the central area.
so unfortunate for Code Unknown Fibonacci because I did see most of their players hanging around the Reggie, charging, trying to get that final strike on the Reggie so that even though they get knocked out, they get the experience, but they just get knocked out too little, too early before the Reggie was within last hit range. So for Talon to be able to not only get the knockouts and to get the steal, you've effectively denied Fibonacci from any kind of comeback. And so to get the Reggie Alecki as well, just pure map control coming out here from Talon. Just really stopping Fibonacci from really doing anything. We have our first score coming in by Ulap. The rest of the team is going to follow, but they have to deal with this Reggie Alecki as well. They're going to send the Urshifu in by himself, but without his team, look how much damage it's taking.
Oh, that's a beautiful side strike as well, being able to provide a crowd control for Talon. But right now, Code Unknown Fibonacci is not done yet, but very unfortunate. Misra will be taken down in the process as well. It's just Zation that is left on their side. Great utilization of Hyperspace Hole in order to force things down for Zashin to overextend by just a little. That is what Talon needed to successfully take down the KO.
And again, Talon just pushing this lead further and further ahead. Level 15 on this Cerule Edge. He is maxed out with 3 minutes to go. It just goes to show how fed this Cerule Edge is and how deadly he's going to be for the next 3 minutes. I think anyone he jumps on top of, that's going to be almost an instant knockout for Talon. So Code Unknown Fibonacci have to be extremely careful with who they reveal in these fights. And if, for example, the Inteleon gets exposed a little bit too soon and he gets jumped on by the Cerule Edge, say goodbye to your attacker because there's nothing in the world that's going to save him.
Oh yeah, there's no one gonna be saving you out there, but that's an additional defense for Talon, making sure that their investment for the final stretch would be better up against
Darkrai!
So will sacrifice rather those goals that happen in the top path. Yes, the score differential is getting closer and closer, but in terms of the overall objective and impact, Talon is looking great. This Inteleon team needs to step up those snipe shots in order for them to deploy a lot of damage.
Oh my god!
Give me the starting point up with the rings and bound there. Actually, but who is going to be the next one? Lance was isolated immediately by the worst nightmare, but they took down as well that Darkrai. 4 members was taken down in the process for Code Unknown Fibonacci and Talon. They're gonna be securing this Rayquaza and eventually this game.
Yeah, I feel bad for this Darkrai, you know, because you use Worst Nightmare and you use it on Lance, and I think Lance ended up being his worst nightmare in that particular matchup. I mean, it was a great idea, right? To isolate the Serena and basically to leave the rest of the team open so that the rest of Code Unknown Fibonacci could try to finish them off, but I really felt like it was really too little, too late. This team needed more resources to really come online and to be able to get those very crucial pickoffs on those core Pokemon for Talon. I mean, everyone was still healthy. Even after Lance came back and he got the knockout onto Darkrai, like, they wiped the team and Talon was just walking as if nothing happened at all. I mean, this was a tough game one, to be honest, right? Like, Code Name Fibonacci, they tried something different. They tried to go for support Darkrai. We didn't really see much happen. We saw, I think, was it two worst nightmares so far? Or maybe 3, I'm not sure if we saw a third, but we definitely saw 2. And it didn't really impact the game as much as maybe we expected it to. You know, to be able to isolate someone so the rest of your team can fight, but to be this far behind, maybe you needed something else instead of that Darkrai.
Oh, and with that, Talon is going to be the stronger team, at least for game number 1. And I do agree on you. I really do agree. Because this Darkrai, it's a phenomenal Pokemon, but the way Code Unknown Fibonacci use it as of the moment, it's not on its maximum potential yet. And, you know, this would somehow leave a question mark on their team. Should we repeat our composition in game number 2? Or let's stick to the more traditional format wherein we're going to be having supporters, we're going to be having defenders, instead of a speedster who can act as a supporter. That's a big question mark, right?
I think there are two
on
pivots.
its maximum potential, it's really huge, right? It's really huge. So they really have to, some sort respect that, but they want to respect as well the other picks of Talon. So, Kodo and Fibonacci, they're having a hard time on what to take away at the side of Talon, because Talon has been in the scene for so much time already. I mean, Kodo as well. They have been there for quite some time. But in terms of experience and exposure, Talon has experienced way more compared to Kodo, which makes it difficult for Kodo because Talon is, showing something that maybe they haven't seen yet in a competitive setting.
Well, I mean, Fibonacci tried to do something that we've never seen before, and that didn't work, right? So sometimes, like, element of surprise, it can definitely be a contributing factor, but I think it also requires you to be able to execute this, like, very niche, brand new, untested strategy. Now, speaking of untested, okay, we are going to be seeing the return of Metagross. This was banned in game number 1, and for Fibonacci, they get their hands on it. It's going to be Mithril that pilots this, and obviously he's going to be thrilled because the Filipinos love to play their Metagross. But they have given away 2 massive Pokemon to Talon. You've given away Blissey, and you've given away Umbreon. So what is the play here for Fibonacci? After giving away, I want to say, 2 S-tier support defenders, what are you picking next? Because these don't look like support and defenders to me, okay? I'm seeing a Dodrio and I'm seeing a Tinkaton.
I mean, definitely wouldn't be, but Buzzwole, we've seen IC a while ago did a huge play with this Buzzwole, so I feel like, they want to make it happen again. That's why we really must respect IC with this pickoff. So, really understandable. TBD with a Hoopa, they actually denied pick Talon up until this point. So, actually, it wasn't a denied pick because Junior Apps and then RBX was the first one to lock it in. So, it wasn't a denied pick, but right now, it looks like Kodo and Fibonacci is Talon a while ago in terms of draft. in terms of draft.
I mean, if it works, it works, right? I don't think I'm going to complain if it works. The final draft here for Fibonacci, so pretty well rounded. Lots of frontline. They've got the resets with the Hoopa, and they have Espeon as their backline attacker, also providing some disable with the Psychic Solaire. But Talon, they've got Serena and Ceruledge, 2 very scary backline divers that an Espeon should be terrified of. They've got a Mewtwo Y that's going to be dishing out damage, and let's not forget, all of these Pokemon are going to be getting the support of a Blissey. With the threat of a Blizz Assist, especially with how much Lance and Sync1 love to dive, I hope Fibonacci is ready to go bowling, because you do not want to be bowling pins in this game of bowling.
Oh yeah, you really don't want to. You really don't want that one to happen, but Kodo and Fibonacci, on the other hand, they have an Espeon, but it's not a supporter Espeon, it is an attacker Espeon. So probably this would be a stored power, because we've been seeing a lot of, teams out there who really prioritize sure hit moves compared to like an area of effect. So like that will be the case here for the Espeon, but they do have a phenomenal defender as well, which is the Snorlax. Probably a Heavy Slam and Yawn would be their composition, because if it's going to be blocked, basically that Ceruledge could just Phantom Force in, just Flame Charge in, and take down the attackers as much as possible. But if you do Heavy Slam with Yawn, you can make that Ceruledge or Serena fall asleep, and it's just a follow-up damage for Kodo and Fibonacci up until this point.
Look, the game started. It's time to go, Yules. Let's see if Code Unknown Fibonacci will be able to pull this to a Game 3, or is Talon going to continue with their clean 2-0 streak today? Because they've already started strong, both of these teams starting strong 2-0, and unfortunately, somebody in this set is going to go down to that lower bracket. And at the moment, bottom lane, being terrorized by this Mewtwo Y on the side of Talon.
RBX. Uh-oh.
Too many points. Too many points.
7
No!
points.
He got babysat.
Yeah, gets KO'd immediately. But right now, Dylan is also doing the same, but not going to be quite enough to take down Ulap, as that true points landed immediately on their favor. But Have to be very careful as of the moment because those tackles might be available anytime soon. And Steam, the moment he evolves, it will be a different story for the bottom path while not having an access to that Umbreon.
Yeah, up top it looks like it's going to be 6 Pokemon up here, so 3v3 fighting for the Swablu and Altaria, and the Metang just comes in, sweeps them all up. Now, they do get the first evolution there onto the Steedy, so hopefully they'll be able to turn things around because Conan and Fibonacci, they're trying to fight on that goal zone. They pull back Lance, but it's going to come at the cost of one of their Pokemon, maybe? Nope, they do score. So Fibonacci coming out on top in that top lane skirmish. Cerulege, unfortunately, just not able to do enough, especially with the fact that Serena needs to be fully evolved to be fully committable to these fights.
Yeah. And so far, it's looking good for Kodan and Fibonacci. They are having a great start as of the moment, so just have to maintain this one. First 2 minutes, it's looking good for them. But if Talon, gets an opening up against them, it will be really difficult for them to bounce back. But right now, we're looking good so far. Somehow made it a win towards Talon. But I love how Kodan and Fibonacci is trying to challenge Talon little by little.
I think we have to challenge them because
yeah,
one of the things that makes Talon so strong is you let this team snowball and things just go down south. They know how to capitalize on leads. So Fibonacci, being the proactive ones themselves, really love this move for them to be able to challenge Talon and take them out of that comfort zone. Looks like they managed to catch out the Blissey there. It's going to be Safeguard that's the build. It's not going to be soft-boiled. And that's going to be the support done and dusted. We do have the Umbreon coming through. Mewtwo Y just pelting out damage with those basic attacks. But they do get the reset in there for Fibonacci. They're going to back out. Metang taking a lot of damage. The commitment's there. Triple Axel coming out from the Serena as well. They do get the Metang. Big target, but the reset's going to be there for Fibonacci. And I do suspect they're going to abandon that. Do not go back to that portal. But the defense continues. Got a couple of scores here for Talon. And it looks like they won't overstay their welcome. They're going to back out.
Oh yeah, they had to back away immediately up until this point. Teleport back plus the side strike is going to hit it. But the prioritization in Regieleki is looking good for Kodan and Fibonacci. But on the other hand, Registeel for a Talon. That is so phenomenal. Computer Crush was able to take down Junior Absent in the process. But
Metagross.
Good still. Talon, what can you do? They took down the Metagross, but Quick Send will be there as well to take down both.
Fibonacci are falling.
Fibonacci, one by one, little by little, are falling back, falling down. It's gonna be the block, actually not the yawn, but could they make this work? Actually not. Talon would take advantage of it, and that is a score goal zone for Talon.
They're going to get the goal zone, and they're also going to send Regieleki to threaten that tier 2 goal zone in the top lane as well. So that's going to give them some room, grab some wild Pokemon, and also draw some attention away from Code Unknown Fibonacci, because after that failed fight, I mean, I think it's a great decision to abandon there, because if you kept throwing bodies, you'd just be giving more and more experience away. Just play catch up, grab those wild Pokemon. Very, very sneaky steal there. They tried to go for that steal back, as it looks like the Metagross just sort of running into 3 Pokemon, but thankfully it was the Metagross. If it was anyone else, there's probably going to be a fainted Pokemon.
Oh yeah, fainted Pokemon. Icy not looking good up until this point. That's a free KO for Talon. Kodan and Fibonacci had a great start, but little by little, they are not holding tight on the lead that they actually built a while ago. And Talon, they're just making things work on their favor.
Look, it's Talon, okay? This is a team that they have a plan A, B, C, and D, okay? That is how well prepared this team is. So even though things can get a little rough every now and again, they do know what to do next if one plan sort of falls on through. Now, speaking of plans, they were planning to try and get rid of that Metagross. I think if they got the knockout there, that would have just been it. That would have been the go call for Talon to just overwhelm Fibonacci. Now, Icy needs to be careful. He does get a berry thanks to that Hooper. But Hooper has to make sure he does not get knocked out, because you need to have access to those resets.
Crush.
And Unite's been used, Computer Crush. Big one there as well. You've caught the supports. There's going to be no Bliss Assist at all. Mewtwo, Unite as well to follow on through. They're on top of the Regirock. It's a defensive buff. This Snorlax is going to go down. Doesn't even get to connect this Disable. And that's going to be Talon securing the Regirock for the team. Big old defensive buff. If they want to do anything now, it's the perfect time to do so. But they've stolen away what could have been comeback experience from Fibonacci.
Oh wow, what a perfect timing to deploy the shield for the safeguard in order to, safeguard the health points of Junior Absent and avoid being fainted all the way from that team fight. So right now, Kodan and Fibonacci, they had something in exchange out of that Regirock, but still the objective lands into Talon. So they have to burn down the effects of that Regirock up until this point, because it will be really difficult for them to go head-on, knowing that they have consistent damage as well. Talon looking great.
Talon looking great. They just got to keep looking great.
Yeah,
otherwise,
sure, right?
otherwise, we're going to a game 3. But they are leading by 1 game, so if, let's say, things go bad in this game, we still are going to have access to another game. Mewtwo, why then caught out to the Metagross. They do bring him down low, but that happened so quickly that Talon were able to get the Reggie Alecki themselves. So whatever fight Fibonacci was expecting, they're not going to get it anymore, especially now that they have to deal with that Reggie Alecki. Now down bottom, we still have a defense being mounted by that Hooper, protecting the bottom tier 2 goal zone. They don't want to have that broken open by a RBX who's hanging on to 40 points. They're ready to score if given the opportunity to do so, but he is going to be a pest. Snarl Umbreon. Definitely one of the banes of our existences.
Yeah, I mean that's the life of Junior Absent, just roaming around.
Just being a pest. Yeah, he knows how to do it. RBX.
Yeah, that he know what's best. Actually, it was RBX. I thought it was Junior Absent.
It's RBX. Yeah.
It's
So
RBX,
absence on the absence on the
Blissey. All right. So, it's grab from Ula. Or that was actually Icy. But there goes the Unite move as well. Psychic Slayer will pop up. And Fleet's Ascendant with a follow-up here coming in from Talon. So Rayquaza has finally appeared. But one has been taken down for Golden and Fibonacci in the process. Make that one too. SPL not looking good in terms of health points. And that Metagross with a Computer Crush has landed in order to jail down a member from Talon. But sad to say, that is a KO as well. But 2-2
it's
in
not
the
over
process. 3 versus 3. I thought it was doing well for Talon, but Kodan and Fibonacci managed to do a mini comeback into that team fight. And right now, Mithril has to
no
just
Unite
things out. No Unite, no whatsoever for both teams to just have their default moveset. This is going to be very difficult for Talon. They need to get their position as fast as they can. And the left is going to go for Talon once again with a Mega Mewtwo Y, who's actually emerging very victorious here. And they take down the members of Kodan and Fibonacci 1 by 1. It's just the Hoopa that's left alone. And Talon, they're just going to score things down.
They score for free. They steal away this Rayquaza that Fibonacci so desperately tried to burn through. But Dylan, so patient on that U2Y. Fantastic secure, not only stealing it for his team, but the buffs being what helped break them through Fibonacci's defense as well. Things could have gone really bad if Fibonacci got that secure themselves. But Talon, this is a team that's been here, that's done that. Rayquaza, they've done this so many times, and I just love how they approached this. They saw Fibonacci rush for it. They did come in with a couple of Pokemon to try and disrupt, but the focus will always be that secure. Patience will always pay off, especially in that Rayquaza pit.
Oh my goodness, that was a great game. That was a great game. Kodan and Fibonacci, despite not getting the victory in game number 2, I can definitely say that they are a promising team, and they might go deep in the lower bracket because they managed to go head-to-head on Talon in game number 2. We want to see more action with them later on, but first, it's going to be Talon, who's the stronger team, who's going to be emerging victorious and will proceed into the upper bracket finals.
Currently looking to be the strongest team in the tournament, which I don't think is surprising anyone at this point of time. It's just who is going to be the next opponent. It could be Codename Fibonacci going up against them in the finals. We'll have to see how their lower bracket runs turns out later on. but their next opponent is going to be determined in our next upcoming matchup, which also is a really exciting one. I'm actually looking forward to this one a little bit more, I feel, because Talon and Fibonacci, I'm sure these guys